And welcome to a special edition of the Steve Malzberg Show from our New York City studios. They're still talking about the debacle, the CNBC presidential debate. And right after the debate, we had our post-debate show here on Newsmax television. And former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin, who also was the vice presidential candidate in 2008, of course, she joined us and she hit the nail on the head with her analysis of what took place. Watch.
We have to consider that the format tonight was odd. It was pretty chaotic, which I think speaks to what CNBC is all about. That there was chaos up there, so kind of a tough format for everyone to have some earned or equal time out there on the playing field in order to speak to Americans. Those who did get their word in edgewise, especially like Ted Cruz, did wonderful. Marco Rubio, yeah, he got to put to rest some of the concerns that people have had about him, perhaps with some personal finances. It seemed anyway that he felt satisfied with his answers.
What did you say that Ted Cruz did wonderful? In what way? What impressed you?
Because he schooled the media. And that's what the American people are craving too, for our leaders who are already in these positions of authority to tell the media to start getting focused on the things that concern us, the things that really make a difference in a presidential campaign. Because, the state of the media, not you guys, but those guys, the state of them has been so poor and so unfair, and certainly this atrophying of the cornerstone of our democracy, the press. We have seen such a downfall of what the media has become that when Ted Cruz spanked them, well, we know they deserve to be spanked, and I think he kind of put them in order. It seemed like they kind of behaved a little bit better after that.
Let me ask you about Carly Fiorina. Once again, she was questioned by the female on the panel, as the only female up there, questioned about her tenure as a CEO. I thought she handled it quite well, and then they turned their attention to women. And under the Obama policies that would be continued by Hillary Clinton. In fact, Carly Fiorina said, how dare Hillary say she'd be the champion of women? And she pointed out how poorly women are doing in this economy, falling into poverty, out of the workforce, etc. Were you impressed by Carly Fiorina tonight?
Yes, I'm always impressed with what it is that she brings to the debate stage, because she's articulate, she's calm, cool, and collected. She gets her point across. Though, these questions about women specifically, how we're doing, how we're feeling, if there's a war on us, they kind of make me sick. Because I am one, maybe it's because I'm up here in Alaska and our conditions are a great equalizer, and men and women really are seen as equals up here. Those kind of questions, they just kind of bug me, because it's coming from the Democrats too, by the way. The liberals are the ones who want to keep dividing based on gender, based on race. And that's so passé in my world that, those specific questions about women, man, they just need to skip those. Talk about every American who is struggling and working paycheck to paycheck because of this overregulation, the overtaxing, government's overreach into our lives, led by the liberals.
Let me ask you, going forward here, what do you think the future is for Jeb Bush after witnessing him on the stage tonight? I thought he was more or less a non-entity. He went after Rubio on Rubio's, and I'd like your reaction to the attacks on Rubio, especially by the Sun-Sentinel, and the question that maybe he should get out of the Senate while he's running. And I thought Rubio was heroic in pointing out that, it was Bob Graham and John Kerry and Barack Obama and John McCain that did the same things. But, you've been in that position of running while in office. But talk to me about Jeb Bush. Where is he right now in this campaign, in your view?
Okay, well, first with Rubio, the points he made, right on. Again, he called out the media because they are hypocrites when, they're calling on him to resign and yet, or at least suggesting that, and yet they've given a pass to more liberal candidates in the past who have missed more votes than Rubio. So I'm glad he called him on that. And as for me personally, yes, I was serving in office while I was running, and I ended up resigning. So, you know, maybe I'm not the best example for those who want to stay in office but miss a whole lot of votes and not do the job that they were elected to do. So, you know, I'm sure Rubio is having to consider that. But as for Jeb Bush,
yeah,
he did well tonight. He's got, though, a bit of, some would say, an insurmountable roadblock in front of him, and that is that establishment, the perceived establishment backing that he has. And, you know, most of us, average Americans, we're so tired of the establishment because they're part of the problem, obviously, on both sides of the aisle, that we seem to be quite attracted to those who have no kind of ties or obligations to the establishment. So, of course, Jeb has that going, but he did well tonight. Again, though, they all did so well tonight. I'm just tickled.
If you had to predict at this point, and we have several more debates to go, certainly, how do you read, and I think you're right on the anti-establishment sentiment. I think it's obvious. It's been obvious from the polls from day one. But how do you, to what do you attribute Ben Carson's success taking over the top spot in the one New York Times poll, the 3 polls in Iowa, the close polls in Texas, one he's ahead and one he's tied with Trump? How do you, to what do you attribute Ben Carson's success? Maybe aside from being an outsider.
Because we respect, though, that he is an outsider and he is intelligent and he is articulate, calm, cool, and collected, but he is articulate, and we know, we can sense that he has that passion to get America back on the right track. And he has kind of a unique background and kind of experience that's refreshing. He's not status quo politician. Good for him.
Okay, I want to ask you one more question, then I'm going to bring in Rick Ungar, my colleague here at Newsmax Television. If you were a betting person up there in Alaska, and I don't know if betting is legal there or not, I would guess not, going forward, do you think that there are people who should consider getting out, and who do you think it will come down to? Who do you think it will go? Do you think it's going to be between Trump and Carson because they're the outsiders, or is there a quote-unquote insider who has a shot to still pull this out?
I think if a primary vote were taken today, it would be between Trump, Cruz, and Carson. And do I think that some of the candidates are needing to start looking at perhaps conserving some resources and dropping out? I do. I don't want to tell you who specifically tonight I think should drop out, but some of them should. You know why? People we get kind of burned out of all of them beating each other up, because what they're doing is wasting ammunition on one another, and we're feeding the beast when you consider what the left is going to do with the shots that the GOP has taken against each other. And, you know, at some point, it's like, come on, man, you have no chance of winning anyway. Why are you taking people's hard-earned money as contributions and you're spending them on those dollars on things that aren't going to get you to the White House?
You won't give us one person. You won't give us one name who was on that main stage tonight, the big stage.
No, I won't.
Okay.
And I am looking forward. No, and I'm looking forward to that time of unity of the GOP. And well, like Chris Christie really focused on tonight, start focusing on what the problem is. The problem is Hillary Clinton, and she is going to be the nominee on the other side. And the problem is that the media is so in bed with Hillary Clinton that they have much personally invested in her, that they are not going to be fair going into a general election. That is a problem. Well, and that's why the unity that brings strength in the GOP party is so important.
Will anybody heed Governor Palin's words? We shall see. All right, yesterday Ben Carson told us he's organizing other candidates to try to bring changes to the debate format. Earlier in the month, I had an opportunity to sit down at length with Dr. Ben Carson, and that's coming up next right here. You'll see it on Newsmax Television.